Welcome back to the channel, everybody. Me again, Shannon Fox here, the Voted Patriots 2 channel. And I want to talk about a little bit about what's going on involving this crazy wackadoodle judge that tried to get the Venezuelan flights turned around in midair over international waters. Didn't work out too well for him. Marco Rubio and Trump decided, no, we ain't listening to that crap. Pam Bondi said, no, we were over international waters. We couldn't hear what he was saying from in the air. And I'm just glad to hear it. But at the same time, this judge is trying to prevent now Trump from doing any more deportations whatsoever. These local judges think they have the ability to police the entire country with their jurisdiction, with their lack of jurisdiction on their left wing rulings, and this is now becoming such a huge problem in with those and the Trump administration just trying to do things like deport the illegals and the criminals. But I think we're just in for some lawfare over the next couple of years. I don't know how the Supreme Court will weigh in on this. Maybe they'll weigh in on each case separately. Now, John Roberts is catching a lot of flack today because he said that Trump doesn't need to be threatening impeachment on such people as this asshole James Boasberg, the acting Obama judge, radical Obama judge. Um, this judge and his daughter are into all kinds of things. There's lots of dirt on him. He is got a conflict of interest for so many reasons, including the people that he's tied into and the organizations his daughter's tied into, making money with. We'll get into that here in just a little bit. But first off, let's just let you know, if you don't already know, Brandon Gill, who's a representative, I believe he's here from Texas, files articles of impeachment against this wackadoodle Judge Boasberg. I guess that's how you say his name, for trying to convince, I guess, the pilot to fly illegals, illegal criminals back into the country. That would be a crime in itself. What most people don't realize is that a lot of these Venezuelan gangs were sent here by direct order of Maduro, who is the leader in Venezuela, and by proxy of probably a conversation between him and the Biden regime. And that's just the sad truth of the matter. And in that case, it was more than just an invasion of people. It was like a military type invasion when you're sending the worst of the worst into our country. But let's go ahead and get into a little of this. I wanted to read to y'all. Try not to make this too terribly long, but I had several things I did want to bring to y'all today. Been feeling under the weather, so I hadn't been doing a lot of videos the last couple of days. This guy on the right, he's the creep show. Says, I just introduced articles of impeachment against radical activist Judge James Boasberg. So whether Supreme Court John Roberts likes whether Trump's talking about impeachment or not on this clown of a judge has no bearing on whether Congress will try to do it as well. It says Representative Brandon Gill filed articles of impeachment against uh, Boasberg after he ordered the President of the United States to fly violent criminal illegals and gang members back into the United States. So that crap ain't working. Says Boasberg did this knowing his daughter was in business and of defending violent criminal illegal aliens at work. Boasberg is a committed anti-American communist who wants to bring down America. Now, when I think of a crooked judge, I think of one or two things. They're either taking big money from somebody like Big Pharma, or maybe even the CCP, or they're taking cartel money to look the other way and not arrest certain people. When I think of crooked judges, it's either over drug money, or it's over political money that comes from the deep staters, from military industrial complex, big pharma, the big guys that tend to get in these guys' pockets. The George Soros types. This here is actually just showing the resolution, the articles of impeachment. But we got Laura Loomer, who's got an update on this. Says, from Laura Loomer, I have exclusively uncovered a massive conflict of interest involving Judge James Boasberg, the Chief Judge of the United States District Court for the District of Columbia. Judge Boasberg recently made a decision to prevent the deportation of criminal alien gang members on planes out of the country. Judge has a daughter named Catherine Bosberg who worked for a 501c3 organization, an NGO charity called Partners for Justice, and as a capacity building associate. In her position, she helps coordinate and administer grant activities, ensures compliance, and supports the delivery and capacity of building programs to strengthen nonprofit infrastructure. So she's trying to grow the NGOs. That's her job. Okay. Says Catherine Boshett also has pronouns in her bio. She goes by she, her, providing her affiliate with the left. Partners for Justice strongly opposes mass deportation and legislation targeting members of criminal gangs and has been a vocal critic of the Lake and Riley Act. Really? This news gets even worse. Loomer also uncovered a screenshot showing that Catherine, Catherine's employer, Emily Galvin Almanza, tweeted an article about Judge Bosberg blocking Trump's deportation of Venezuelan gang members. Look, so they thought they were really doing some good. Mm-hmm. You know, they thought they were really putting their thumb in Trump's face. It says, exclusive. Judge Bosberg blocked the deportation of Trinidad Arago gang members without disclosing the fact that his daughter works for a NGO, Partners for Justice, which directly benefits from keeping these people in the country. Go figure. And there's a picture of the daughter. It says less than 12 hours after I exposed Judge James Bosberg's conflict of interest with his daughter, Catherine Bosberg, who works for Partners for Justice, that gives the PFJ at USA that gives criminal illegal aliens and gang members legal advice. Catherine Bosberg is definitely tied in with this crap. Okay. All right. Now, this here is the lady that actually works for this wackadoodle organization. Sounds like a racist.
It's your weekly video, and today I'm going to tell you about a legal loophole that lets prosecutors use different rules of evidence in court when they are prosecuting specific, usually black or brown people. Here's what I mean. Most places around the country have some kind of gang law at this point. And a lot of these gang laws are really loosey-goosey. They basically define a gang as like any 2 or more or 3 or more people who have any kind of unifying symbol who commit a kind of crime together. Now, when you think of how teenagers are and how often kids have unified, how often did we all draw that weird S in our notebooks? And I don't know, like shoplift candy, whatever. The point is, these laws can be very broadly applied because they are very, very vague. Who are they applied to? When we look at databases, for example, New York's gang database, it becomes apparent that these laws are almost exclusively applied to people of color. So, for example, in New York, 99% of people in the gang database are not white. This is really significant because what gang law is really intended to do is prosecute groups of people for doing crimes together, right? We actually already have laws for that. The law of conspiracy, for example, is intended to prosecute groups of people who do a crime together. But conspiracy actually requires prosecutors to do the work of proving that the people had a common scheme and that they actually took material steps towards completion of their scheme. Gang law? They can just claim that people are all in the same gang, and so whatever crime one of them does, the other ones must have wanted to do too, and therefore be culpable for. This opens the door to prosecutors using evidence in court that they would never be allowed to use in any other context. So, for example, if I'm accused of a crime, and I am saying, hey, I'm completely innocent of this crime, I did not do this. Most of the time, prosecutors are not allowed to introduce evidence that my friend committed a whole bunch of crimes, and kind of imply to the jury that if my friend did a whole bunch of crimes, I must be a crappy person who does crimes too. But in gang cases, that's exactly what they're allowed to do, which is essentially a totally...
You get the point, folks. She is making excuses in the name of racial division as to why the blacks and the browns are the gang members and they're also vicariously the victims. I believe there's all types of gangs: white gangs, Asian gangs, Mexican gangs, of all shapes and sizes. and of course colored gangs as well. Just depends on where you're at, uh, what city you're in, what side of the city you're on, uh, what neck of the woods you're in. There's not too many Crips gangs in South Texas, or should I say in East Texas. But then again, there's probably not too many Irish gangs here in Texas. And so it's just a matter of context. If you're looking for it, you can probably find it. But more than anything, these people are gang members, and their affiliation is easy to spot because of their tattoos. And I just have no want to pretend like these people that are all tattooed up that have been to prison 2 or 3 times that get out and just want to continue to be predators on society. I have a hard time wanting to put them in the victimhood box or in the victim status at all, just because most people don't change. And I mean, some do, but most people don't change. This lady here is crazy. She is just talking out her ass, trying to make it sound like the system is the problem. You got that, didn't you, folks? And Laura Loomer, if you want to read more about this, Laura Loomer has done quite a bit of research on this today. Says, massive conflict of interest with the daughter. Says the judge's daughter focuses on criminal defense advocacy as employees of Partner for Justice. Partners for Justice is derives 76% of its funding from government grants. So we're paying for that crap too from the Partners for Justice website. Our impact supporting those in need, transforming the system. Partners for Justice is transforming public defenders into a robust network of dynamic people centered service center to reducing incarceration. Okay. It's the get out of jail free card lawyer system. Because if you're brown or black or in a gang or an illegal, you definitely need more than just representation. You need extra special DEI representation. I get it. Sickening mess, folks. This stuff really aggravates me with this judge and judges. There's so many of these things going, so much of this going on now, so much lawfare. It seems like that's all the Democrats have left at this point is strictly lawfare. And since this judge has talked crap about Trump, Trump is doing exactly the same. And even Supreme Court justices are weighing in. It's a mess, folks. I'm not even going to lie to you. Trump says in a truth yesterday, says this radical left lunatic of a judge, a troublemaker, an agitator who was sadly appointed by Barack, was not elected president, but but he didn't win the popular vote by a lot. He didn't win all 7 seats. He didn't win 2750 to 525 counties. He didn't win anything. A furious Trump wrote. Trump added he added that he was doing exactly what the American voters told him to do: deport illegal aliens, and then he called for Boasberg to be impeached. I won for many reasons in an overwhelming mandate, he says, but fighting illegal immigration may have been the number one reason for my historic victory. I am doing just what the voters wanted me to do. The judge, like many of the crooked judges I am forced to appear before, should just be impeached. Trump added, we don't want vicious, violent, and demented criminals, many of them deranged murderers in our country. Make America great again. Absolutely, 100% solid. This is this is all going to have to be resolved in the Supreme Court, I believe, before it's all said and done. I don't know how this is going to go before it's all over. We'll play a little bit of Stephen Miller. He's got some opinions about it as well. I like to get a little Stephen Miller in every day or two. He seems to have his finger on the pulse about what is going on. And we're going to go way over to here.
How this gang was sent here by a foreign government and President Trump is sending them out of this country.
Well, we look forward to learning more about that because that connection is very crucial.
I don't want to back this up, but I just want to let y'all know we've now found out there is a Biden connection to the Venezuelan dictator over there, Maduro. As to why we have so many Tren de Aragua here and MS-13 here, it's because they were sent here purposely by request of Biden through Maduro, and that's what we're coming to the consensus of. and she's actually arguing about it a little bit here.
And I think it is, there's no higher calling for any president of the United States than the national security of the country. And I think that the law tends to support that. So we look forward to watching this. You can call Weissman names and he can call you names. And that's what's great about living in America.
This is a tit for tat with Weissman. This is a tit for tat with Weissman. I will defend American lives working for President Trump, and Andrew Weissman can defend illegal alien rapists, terrorists, and predators.
100%.
If that's what he wants to fill in his lot with, then good
argue.
for him. I've chosen my side, Americans have chosen their side, and President Trump has chosen the side of fiercely defending the American people.
I hear you 100%.
She wasn't trying to hear it. Yes, folks, I do like me some Stephen Miller. He was tearing one up on CNN earlier today. Now, if you don't know, as of a couple of hours ago, the JFK files have dropped, and if you stick around, I'll get you to the webpage here directly. If you want to go through and actually open up document files one at a time and read them, close it, and go to the next one. It says, thank you, President Trump. We trust that you will get the job done. My children and their children will be benefit from the peace you are creating. Listen to this great news. Donald Trump says, with my phone conversation today with President Putin of Russia was very good and productive one. We agreed to an immediate ceasefire of all energy and infrastructure with an understanding that we will be working quickly to have a complete ceasefire, meaning they're not going to destroy the power and the infrastructure and things of that nature until they can get to. So they're at what they call a soft ceasefire right now. It says we will be working quickly to a complete ceasefire and ultimately an end to this horrible war between Russia and Ukraine. This war would have never started if I were president. Many elements of the contract for peace were discussed, including the fact that thousands of soldiers are being killed. Both President Putin and Zelensky would like to see an end to the war. The process is now in full force and effect, and we will hopefully, for the sake of humanity, get the job done. I love it. I love it. Trump is brokering peace in Russia and Ukraine. Part of the deal from the great businessman. And like I said, folks, John F. Kennedy docs, they said is over 1,000 documents today that come out, and it's all supposed to be about the assassination. I don't want to know about the second shooter. I want to know who done it, how many foreign countries were involved, or was it all just directly from our CIA? Let me back up a little bit. All right, folks, let me back up. Now down here, it's called now you can go over to DNI Tulsi Gabbard, DNI Gabbard, to her Twitter page. She's actually the one that is dropping these docs today, unreleasing maximum transparency. But you can also go over and look at the 1,123 files released at DOJ Archives page, and it's right here on. It's on .gov, WhiteHouse.gov, and you can go to DOJ Archives, or you can come over here to Gateway Pundit and hit the little blue link, hyperlink. DOJ Archives, easy to find, folks. Now, conservative Republican lady, Miss Harriet Hagman. I've listened to her many times. She sounds like she shoots straight from the hip every time. She's not apologetic at all. She was discussing the waste from the Department of Education that DOJ has found, and said it is absolute the best she's ever seen as far as money laundering goes. They're paying $1,200 for pencil type stuff. You know what I'm talking about, folks. USAID funded Antifa as well, but that's another story. All right, we're going to do this one first.
So is the DOGE program targeted at these bureaucrats?
Yes.
And so what can you expect?
Well, let's look at the Department of Education. The Federal Department of Education has a budget of about $280 billion a year. Less than 25% goes to educating our students. So where does the other $220 billion go? It goes to a bureaucracy. It goes to a consultant. And that consultant then donates money back to the Democrats. And then it goes to a different consultant. And then it goes to an NGO. I mean, it is money laundering and money churning at its absolute best. And you can look at almost every single agency and you will find it. So the brilliance of Doge isn't that he's going in and cutting spending. He doesn't have the authority to do that. We're the ones that have the authority to do that. What I want him to do is come up with a report, go through agency by agency by agency, identify every single program that we should not be funding, put a number attached to it. We slap a preamble on the front of that report, and we say that every single agency is having their budget cut by X amount as shown in the attached report, and none of those programs can go forward from here on out.
And this is why Democrats are losing their minds
That's
over
what I'm
Elon
talking
Musk.
about right
It's all about
there.
Targeted at these bureaucrats.
It's all about the money, folks. These Democrats are tripping and panicking, and I think they got the right idea. Elon is not only going to be able to stop spending, but he's also going to be able to prevent things from moving forward with future spending. If a bill is set up to pay for a program for the next 1,000 years, if you cut it off now, it's cut off. But he is definitely going to need Congress to do a lot of the cutting, and hopefully the Republicans and a few Democrats will get on board with actually trying to save the country some money. Got to have hope anyway, folks. All right, folks, I thought this was one of the coolest memes of the day. I got 2 cool memes for you, and we'll get the hell out of here. Now, here goes the first one. Too good. Since the astronauts have safely landed today, I figured this would be an appropriate clip. They did splash down a few hours ago, and they are home safe after being stranded by Biden for 9 months. One more little fun fact before we get out of here, folks. I heard it was just released on the Daily Mail that Trump has said that we are going to have to look into revoking Hunter Biden's Secret Service status, considering he's got 18 guys protecting him over in South Africa while he goes on a shopping spree, while he claims he's broke. Secret Service protection revoked. Coming soon, folks. You heard it here first. All right, folks, let's listen to this video. Let's see what the music sounds like on this thing. This is too cool.
Booster now hovering as it aligns with the tower for catch.
Booster coming in.
Down to
that USB.
Down to the engine.
Young man, there's no need to feel down. I said, young man, pick yourself off the ground. I said, young man, cause you're in a new town. There's no need to be unhappy, young man.
Got one more great one for you folks, and we'll call it a day. This is a good one as well. This is a drone extravaganza spotted in Miami, Florida, off the coast. I think this is the coolest stuff ever. Let me get me out of here so I am not in the way on this one. Very cool. Best president ever, folks. I must say. Maybe I'm just maybe a little partial, but I have to say, every president I've ever watched in my entire life growing up never made a hill of beans difference on the economy, on the country, on foreign policy, on the actual ability to listen and take care of we the people. Never seen it before. But Trump's the first. I got to give him that. That's what I got for you today, folks. We're living in historic times. We'll never have another president like Trump. But maybe because of Trump, we'll never have another president like Joe Biden.